And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're going to be taking a look at the Hare and the Tortoise. Now this is the third game in the Tales and Games line from IELLO. They each look like a book that you can put in your bookcase. They open up the magnetic box, pretty cool box. This one actually got some very positive buzz. Our very own Dan King liked it very much, and I was anxious to try. This is the last one in the series that I've played, and I was very excited to give it a try. I like the story of the Hare and the Tortoise. Slow and steady wins the race. There's been many variations done on that. This one sticks with the traditional version, except now there's a fox, a sheep, and a wolf also running. Let me show you. At the beginning of the game, you set this racetrack up, and there's straight pieces on one side and curves on the other, and it really doesn't matter how you set it up. The only thing that really matters when you're setting it up or where you place these streams. Then you're going to put the animals here, the 5 racing animals here. Everyone is going to get a secret betting card. This is going to show you which of the animals you're betting on. And then players will also be drawing a handful of 7 cards that will show different animals, and they're going to pick one of those cards and they're going to bet on that animal also. So you can bet twice on the same animal or whatever. If you're playing a 2-player game, each player will get 2 of these cards. And then the race begins. On a player's turn, they're going to play 1 to 4 cards to a common area here. Now when you play cards, you can play as many cards as you want, up to 4, as long as they're of the same animal. So here I can put out 2 turtles. Then maybe the next player plays 1 lamb. Then the next player plays another lamb. Then I play a fox. And then the person after that plays a wolf. And then the person after that plays a rabbit. And then the person after that plays a lamb. At that point, there's 8 cards total. You can never play more than 8. So if there's 7 cards out there, you can only put out 1. So the race begins. Players are playing cards. The race commences when there are either 8 cards out here total, which there are now, or if there are 4 cards for one animal. So you could start the race out by just playing 4 cards of the same animal. Now, when you do that, each animal is going to move differently based on the cards that are played. The rabbit here is going to move 2 spaces, no matter how many cards are played, unless he's in first place and there are 4 cards out there. If that happens, he takes a nap and doesn't move at all. The tortoise moves forward 1 to 3 space, 1 space if you play 0 to 3 cards. If you play 4 cards, he moves 2 spaces. So even if you don't play any tortoise cards, he's still going to move forward 1 space every round. The wolf, if 1 or 2 cards, he moves 1. If 3 or 4 cards, he moves that many cards minus 1. Not too hard to remember, but what's important about the wolf is if someone plays a card with a wolf howl, and there's a couple of these in the deck, 3 of them, when those are played, only the wolf will move. The fox moves pretty quickly. He moves the number of cards played. So in this instance, he would move 1. The sheep does the same thing. He moves the number of cards played plus 1. So here the sheep moves 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. The sheep does have a disadvantage though. If he moves into a stream, he stops and starts drinking the water because he's distracted by water. Then the cards are discarded and we keep going. As soon as someone crosses the finish line, they're put into the number 1 spot here. Hooray for them, they have won the race. But we keep going until we have the number 2 and the number 3 spot. Each one of these spots is going to give them points, 5, 3, and 2, to players who have betting cards on those players. And whoever gets the most points is the winner. If there's a tie, the person with the higher ranked animal that they bet on is the winner of the game. There is a casual version that you can play. Currently, the way the game is, there's the fewest number of cards in the deck are the sheep, then the fox, all the way up to the rabbit, I believe, has the most cards in the deck. You can make all the cards equal, take away their special abilities, and basically just play a normal race, giving each animal a turbo boost that they can take. But the special abilities aren't that difficult. They give you a card with the game that tells you how many, like there's 18 rabbit cards, it tells you how he moves. Each person has a reference card, so it's really not hard. And once you get going, the way the animals move makes sense. The turtle is slow and steady. The wolf scares other people. The sheep's really fast, but easily distracted. You know, and so I like how they move, and this is a game that is for families, or was made for families, especially that basic game I just mentioned, but can be played by adults very easily. In fact, some of the ways to maneuver the cards, playing those cards is really interesting. What you want to do is you want to throw cards away of your opponent. You want to throw out, for example, if you play a wolf's howl, that's a good time to throw out 4 sheep cards. Why? Because the wolf's going to howl and the sheep's not going to move, and you just used up 4 of the 15 sheep cards in the deck. And so knowing when to play the cards and how many you're going to run and which people you're going to run, and you're watching what everyone else is moving. And it's a secret at first who's running what person, but after a while you kind of have some idea of what other players are doing. And so you're watching how the different people move. And I was worried that some of the special abilities, I thought the tortoise would have a hard time winning, but I've seen him win, so I know that's possible. And it's really intriguing just to see the different animals interact. The basic version, whatever, but the regular version is an incredibly fun race. It's fast too. You set that track up and you're watching the other players play. The best time to make your move with someone, when do you play 4 cards? Obviously you're stymied by the cards that you draw at any given point, but it is fun. It's fun to bet all on one animal, have both your cards in the same animal. Although that can be nerve-wracking. It's easier to have 2 different animals and put on both of them. But it's a very entertaining style game. Works well with 2, 3, and 4 players. I highly recommend it. It is by far, in my opinion, the best of the series. That's the Hare and the Tortoise. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Zavřít dvere.
Где?